So cloud computing is basically on-demand delivery of our IT resources and applications via internet with pay-as-you-go pricing. So I'm sure a few of you have already attended first of the demo class. We're just going to have a little brief introduction on this, and then we are going to get started with the AWS on how we can create our own AWS account, what has to be done, what all are included as a part of our free tier, and how are we going to navigate across our cloud console. So we are going to learn all those things in our first class here. So a little brief introduction on what is cloud computing for those who missed it upon. So cloud computing is basically on-demand delivery of IT resources and applications via internet with pay-as-you-go pricing. So we all know what is electrical services analogy. So even the cloud environment works at the same way. So all I have to relate is how these electrical services work. So specifically, we have power plants across our state as well as the country from where we are actually getting the electrical power supplied to our household places. And each household is basically fitted up with an electrical meter where we are measured on the amount of electricity that is being consumed for every specific month. Now you have a lot of different appliances at your home which are charged at different unit. Now it may be light, it may be fan, it may be air conditioner, it may be mixer grinder, or it can be a TV, music system, anything that we use across our home. And different services can be used at any moment of time. So your electricity is always available. You just need to switch it on, and then you should be able to start using the electrical appliance. And the amount of time you're going to use that electrical appliance for, you are going to be charged for that specific moment of time. Similarly, when we talk about the cloud computing, it is as same as that. So cloud data centers are basically set up across the different locations in the world by companies like Amazon, Google, Microsoft, and few more, right? So we are just going to make sure that we are going to use their data centers. And how are we going to get connected? In our case here, we are going to get connected with the help of internet. And what we are going to use, IT resources. So what can be the IT resources and applications? It could be anything like storage, mailing system, or if you want to create your own software, accessing your servers, anything, right? So we are going to access those kind of IT resources and applications with the help of internet, and I'm going to only pay for the amount of time I'm going to use them. So it can be virtual servers, it can be the databases, it can be storages, or anything else that we are going to play around with. So that was a short introduction about what is cloud computing, and we do have three different models like public model, private cloud model, and the hybrid cloud model. So for a long while, we have been into the private cloud models. Now people are shifting towards the public cloud models. So in the private cloud models, as you see here in the picture below, it depicts a specific company's building where the data center has actually been set up inside the building itself, right? So earlier what used to happen, whenever the companies used to go bid across to the third-party companies for building the software, and whenever they used to get the project, they specifically used to develop that specific project on some software systems, right? So they need some hardware to build that software actually. So those hardware and everything is being purchased from the market. It is been actually set up in their own company, and from there only they are going to develop the complete set of software and they are going to get it delivered. That was how the private clouds or internal clouds used to work earlier. Now the companies like Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Backspace, HP, all these, they have set up their own private cloud. So they have set up their own public clouds across the world. And what we can do is we can create our own private space in that specific cloud. As we can see here, the small circles, you can create your own private space, and you don't need to worry about any more investing in your infrastructure at all. So investing in the infrastructure and the hardware and every other thing is being taken care of by the public clouds. All I need to worry is only about the software and the servers that I want to use for the building it up. So that is all about the public clouds. So when we talk about a hybrid cloud, it is basically a combination of both of them. So I'm going to connect my private cloud with the public, and then it becomes a hybrid. And let's understand what is difference between IaaS, PaaS, and the SaaS. IaaS is basically infrastructure as a service, platform as a service is for PaaS, and software as a service is for SaaS. So IaaS is a place where basically we host, platform as a service is a place where we basically build, and software as a service is basically a place where we consume. Understanding a little more on IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS, let's understand how the traditional IT actually works. So in our traditional IT, basically, as we just saw a picture of one small company where earlier the data centers were set up across, right? So this is how these old companies were used to be, and inside this itself they used to set up the data center. So whenever there were new projects or company wanted to expand its own internal premises, they used to go ahead and purchase this software. They used to purchase this hardware required for the servers, and they used to purchase this storage devices, and then a network engineer is required in order to complete the networking between the servers and storages, and then completely set it up for us. On top of it, a virtualization layer is created so that our network architects will be able to create servers on top of it. So this is how they used to work in earlier. So whenever as a company, whenever I'm going to bid for a new projects outside in the market, and if I'm going to crack any one of them, so it's basically a revenue for my company. So my company now has to build a software and give it to third-party companies. So, but where would I develop it? So basically, I would have to purchase all these server hardware, storage devices, and routing, switches, pipelines, and all those things. And on top of it, a networking engineer would be required who is going to get connected all of them, and he's also going to set up a virtualization layer on top of that, so that my architects in the company would straight away go ahead and choose which kind of server they would require, whether it's a Windows, whether it's a Linux, whether it's Ubuntu, any kind of server which is actually basically required for the development of the software. And we can also install any kind of database on these servers, and then we can create our own application, run them, and we have to secure and integrate them as well. So that is how the traditional IT company used to work. But when we talk about the cloud models, we have three different types, that is IaaS, PaaS, and the SaaS. When we talk about the IaaS, that is infrastructure as a service, I do not have to worry anything on related to the hardware side. Everything is taken care by the cloud vendors, and I just need to straight away give this piece of cloud solutions to my architect in the company, and they are going to decide which servers are basically required, whether it's a Windows or whether it's a Linux. So if you are trying to build a .NET application, as an architect, you would decide that I would like to have a Windows server, and I'm going to develop a .NET application, and in the backend, I'm going to maybe use Microsoft SQL services, that is the database, and I'm going to securely integrate all of these things, that is application with the database, and then I'm going to run it across. So in the IaaS, solutions become much more easier for the architects. And when we talk about the PaaS, we don't even need to worry about what's happening with all of this, what kind of server, what kind of database, everything is already taken care by the vendor, and you just straight away need to develop or build the application. So you also have a ready environments inside the cloud. So you just say that I want a environment which already has pre-installed Linux, pre-installed my database, and all those things are interconnected, and you just want to straight away start coding or developing the application. So that for the developers, PaaS is the best way to get started with, and the SaaS, software as a service, that is something that we all consume. Now we all use Gmail, so that's basically a software that is already built across for us. So as an end user, we are basically consuming those services. So any application that we talk about in the Android Google Store or maybe in the Apple iStore, so those are all basically applications already which are pre-built for us. So that is software as a service. So we are least bothered where it has been developed, whether it is developed in the Java language or whether it is developed in some other. We are least bothered about it. We are just bothered about how do we use that application and what output can that application bring it for us. So just to classify broadly, we have three different types, that is SaaS, PaaS, and IaaS. So SaaS is basically for the end users, that like every one of us, there are normal public who actually consumes all these services, and then application developers specifically use the PaaS, that is platform as a service, and then we have IaaS, that is infrastructure as a service, which is specifically used by the architects. And let's talk about the Amazon now. So we have learned what is cloud computing, what is difference between public private cloud, and we also learned what is IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. Let's talk a little on Amazon's history, why Amazon cloud is much more booming in the market rather than any other. Of course, there are a lot of cloud vendors, but still Amazon emerges to be one of the leading cloud providers across the world today yet. Right? So let's just have a little small introduction to the history of the Amazon. So when we talk about the Amazon's CEO Jeff Bezos, who started this company in 1994, they basically used to deliver the books door to door online. Not even online, I guess. Yeah, it was offline store. So they used to deliver it from door to door. And in 1995, after 1 year, after seeing the success of getting the books delivered from door to door, they went into creation of their first e-commerce website with the name Amazon.com, which used to sell only the books. And then in the span of next 10 years, from 95 to 2005, they were able to create their own publishing house. They were able to publish the books in their own publishing house, and they were able to sell them as well. So that was a tremendous success for the Amazon as a company, just to get with their own publishing house. And they were not just selling the books, but they were also selling a lot of electronic items in the span of those 10 years. And during that momentum, they also used to have this sale like Black Friday sale or the Cyber Monday sale, or like what we have in India, like Big Billion Day sale, the Great Indian Festival sale. So they used to have all these kind of different sales across their e-commerce websites. But the sale usually happens only in the November, December, and the Jan. These are the only 3 months during which a lot of these sales happen, and rest of the year is a normal day for all the e-commerce companies. So whenever these sales used to come up, the Amazon as a company used to invest heavily in the infrastructure so that they are able to cater the needs of the end users. So let's say today, as a Big Billion Day sale, I know that there are 1 million users who are going to access my website to put in the orders. Now we all know that if 1 million people are going to access Amazon.in, it is actually going to crash the server if I go with a normal infrastructure of day to day. So I specifically need a lot of servers running behind the scene, and it should ensure that my server never goes down for any end user. Right? So basically we require a lot of infrastructure to be invested with when we are trying to have any kind of this Black Friday or Cyber Monday or Big Billion Day sale. So that was when they used to heavily invest in the infrastructure. But as they all came to know, this infrastructure is being invested only for the 3 months, but after that, all of those servers on which they have purchased with the money, they are just underlying for free in their infrastructure. No one is making a use of it. And that is when they came up with an idea, why don't we rent out these servers in the rest of the time when they are not in the use? And that is when they officially launched out Amazon Web Services in 2006. They never thought about getting out from an e-commerce company and getting into a software industry where they will be able to build a solution that would be as great today to be one of the leading software companies in the world. So today we all know that Amazon Web Services as a cloud has really emerged up well. That was because when in the 2011 they announced that they have closed down their physical servers which were behind the Amazon.com, and the Amazon.com as an e-commerce company is also completely now on the Amazon Web Services cloud. So they developed so many services within the span of 5 years that they were able to migrate the complete Amazon.com as an e-commerce company onto the AWS cloud. And that was when the people and the companies across the world came to know that if a complex website like Amazon.com could be moved onto AWS cloud, there can be a lot of new startups and other companies that can also make use of something like AWS services. And that is when the company started investing a lot in the research, and they started developing a lot of different services. And today we have more than 3,000 plus services across in the AWS.com. So from the journey of starting with the e-commerce company, today they are now the leading cloud provider. So talking about a little on the core infrastructure services and how they are related to our Amazon Web Services, just a quick overview here. So in the traditional infrastructure, as we were just looking out at the traditional system a little time back, so basically I have to purchase all these racks, servers, and then I need these routers, pipelines, and switches. And then the storage devices, we basically have the databases and the DAS, SAN, and the NAS. So all this needs to be interconnected with each other with the help of an administrator, right? So I have to purchase all these things from the market, get it interconnected with the help of administrator. Then I need to set up a firewall as well as the access control list to secure the complete traditional infrastructure. And thereafter, my developers in the company will be able to start developing the application on these servers. When we talk about the Amazon Web Services, comparing how the servers can be launched, it is very simple. I just need to select an AMI. That is, AMI is basically a machine, Amazon machine image. So whatever machine image you want, basically if it is a Windows or Linux, just need to select it across, and then you can straight away launch an server. So here we call Amazon EC2 instance as a compute engine in our AWS cloud. As a part of our networking, we also have something called as load balancers. So if you have multiple servers serving the same configuration, like as we were talking about Amazon.in or maybe Flipkart.com, where they have multiple servers behind the scene, because as you all know, on the Big Billion Days sale, they'll not be able to cater the needs with the only one server. There will be basically minimum of 15 to 20 or more than that, sometimes servers with a load balancer across. So ELB is basically a load balancer, which is actually going to balance the complete load across all the 20 servers as such. And we can also create our own private cloud inside the Amazon Web Services. So inside this private cloud, I can launch my own EC2 instances. Basically, EC2 instances are like virtual machines. I can launch all the virtual machines. I can launch my databases. I can launch any other software services in my private cloud. And we also have, as a part of storage, we have some Amazon EBS, that is block store volume, EFS, that is elastic file system, and S3, that is like storage service for all the flat files, and then the RDS, that is a relational database system. So I can go ahead and spin up my own database like Oracle, MySQL, Postgres, or Microsoft SQL services. It's just a click away from your computer. For the Amazon RDS, you just click it, and within 5 minutes you already have a database up and running, and you can get started with creating the tables and storing the data. And in order to secure the complete environment, we have security groups and NACL. Here we have ACLs, here it becomes NACLs. ACL is basically access control list, and ACL basically becomes network access control list. And we manage all the access to all the users across with the help of IAM. And now talking about the advantages of the cloud here. So advantages are basically like I'll be able to trade capital expense for a variable expense. So if you are talking about a normal infrastructure, we basically have to invest lakhs of rupees to get this build, and only after that I'll be able to start building the solutions for my clients. But in case of Amazon Web Services, I don't have to worry about investing in any of this at all. If my client wants just a prototype before I can start working on the main solution. So I can straight away go to Amazon Web Services Cloud. I can start away picking up one small server, which can be as small as having 2 virtual cores of CPU, 2 GB of RAM, and then start building the solution and showcase it to the client. And then maybe if he's happy, I'll further continue it. Right. So I'm just paying for the amount of time I'm going to use this small server, and basically I don't need all this infrastructure at all. So I'm going to just pay variable expense in terms of investing heavily with the capital. Benefit from the massive economies of the scale, since the companies like Amazon, Microsoft, Google are heavily investing in setting up their infrastructure. So they are trying to purchase all the storage devices, databases, and other things at very cheaper rate. So since they are going to purchase in bulk, they are going to get a heavy discounts, and they are trying to pass those heavy discounts to the users as well. And in terms of the cloud, I don't need to worry about the capacity. I just can start with as small as I was just talking about the small system, one virtual core of CPU with 1 GB of RAM. I can start with that, and if my system is really performing well, I can eventually go ahead and increase the size as well. So I don't need to worry about any capacity nor about the speed and agility. So I can change the size of machine depending upon the number of users at any moment. And I don't need to specifically spend any money on running or maintaining any data centers. That is a major important thing as an advantage that we get in the cloud. And we can go global in minutes. So if you think you want to go ahead and launch and get started with your e-commerce company or any other software, you can get it done on the AWS cloud within a few minutes. So now we had a lot of introduction about what is Amazon Web Services and what is the cloud, what are the different models. So let's get started with how do we create an account in the AWS, or how do I get access to the AWS cloud. So it's very simple. Just need an internet in order to get connected from a laptop or a mobile, and then you will be able to easily make the way through to the AWS cloud. So let me show you. So I'll just go down to one of my browsers. I'm going to open up aws.amazon.com. So this is the URL that you guys have to go ahead and hit it across. So in order to open the Amazon Cloud Console, this is the URL. So I'm just going to put it across in the chat box. So if you guys also want to parallelly do it, or maybe you want to do it after this class, you guys can go ahead and create an AWS account. So there might be a lot of questions. Will I be charged across for using the services on the AWS cloud? Yes, of course we are charged, but Amazon as a company, he's giving these services for free for 1 year. So we guys can actually go ahead, create a free account and use the lot of services for free, and then we'll be able to play around so that we get the confidence of building up a solution, or maybe working in a company. Wherever we go, it will actually help us. So it does here come up with a create a free account, and it is going to show me what all I'm going to get in for free. I'm going to go ahead and click on this. So it helps you to gain free hands-on experiences with the AWS platform, products, and the services. So that is the major motto. As a part of the free tier, we are going to learn what can be done on the AWS platform, how can I learn about it and gain a real-time experience. So as a part of a free tier, I'm going to get 750 hours of my virtual servers for free and a lot of other things, right? So as a part of storage, I'll get 5 GB for free. And databases can also be used for up to 750 hours. So there are a lot of things yet apart from this normal ones which I'm discussing. You get a lot of things for free and you will be able to use them across. So here it is a complete list. So before we can read about all those things, let's first go ahead and create an AWS account. It's very simple. I just need to click on create an AWS account. email ID, password, and then the account name. It is then going to ask you what kind of account would you like to create, whether it's for your professional purposes or for your personal purpose. So of course, it's for our personal purpose that we are going to explore and learn all about. So this is my full name, let's say, and then I'm going to give my phone number. So guys, give the correct phone number in here because you are going to get a call when you are at the step number 3. This is basically step number 1. We have totally 5 steps, and you are going to get a call onto this phone number. So if you are going to enter the wrong number or the number which is not operating, then you will not be able to proceed with the AWS account creation. So just enter the correct numbers and you are going to get a verification call where you have to enter the PIN which will be displayed on your browser of the computer. I'll just go ahead and put something here. And then just say check for the agreements. So you are agreeing for all the terms and conditions, and then just go ahead and say create account and continue. So the moment I go ahead and do that, it is basically going to ask you for your credit card or debit card number. So do not worry about it. They basically don't charge you anything else apart from here something. So it is basically a charge of 2 rupees, which is again going to be reversed back in a couple of days. And trust me, there's nothing wrong in storing a credit card information on this here. So they are not going to charge you anything as per the RBI rules. They cannot even charge anything in India until the transaction goes via OTP or a secure password. So even though our credit card or debit card numbers are there with them, they'll not be able to charge anything as per the Indian government rules. So you are safe to put in your credit card or debit card number, and they are going to process a charge of 2 rupees, and then that will be also safely submitted back to you within next couple of working days. So this is just to verify that you are a genuine user. And once you enter this, just go ahead and say, do you have a PAN card? Because we are using this for personal purpose, you can just go ahead and keep it as no. And then just go down to the next step. In the next step, basically, you are going to get a pin onto your screen, as well as a phone call will be received on your number that you have put across. So you just need to enter the pin and confirm it, and then you will be shown up a next level page. I'm not going to move further from this page because I'm not going to create the account with this specific email ID for now. So after this payment, as I said, you are going to get a confirmation page, right? So after the confirmation of PIN, you will be asked for the selection of support. What kind of support would you like to receive from the AWS services? Basically, there are 4 different plans: basic, developer, enterprise, and business. So there are 4 different plans that we basically get in the support. So from developer to enterprise, everything is chargeable. Only the basic is free. So as a part of a free tier plan, just go ahead and select the basic support plan, and then you are ready to get started with your Amazon AWS account. That is it. It's very simple. It just take a task. It's just a task of 5 minutes to get started with and create your own AWS account. So once you create your own account, you will be able to follow up all the labs that we are going to do in our class here. So I'm going to showcase all the labs, and you guys will be able to practice it on your own AWS account itself. So at your own convenience, you will be able to practice your own labs at your system. So that is on the AWS cloud, how we get started with creating the account. So once you have already created an account, just go down to aws.amazon.com and just click on my account here and click on AWS console. It is going to ask you for ID and password. You will be able to get inside the AWS console. So let me log in into my console and show you how it appears to be. So this is how your cloud console is going to appear overall. So this, when you click on this AWS button, it is going to take you back to the home screen like we have in our Windows here. Whenever I click on this, I'll be able to open up the start menu. And then if I want to go to home screen, I just click on the left hand side here. So this is going to take me to the desktop. Similarly, in this case here, I'm just going to click on this AWS, which is going to take me to the home screen. And if I want to access the services, just click on here and you will be able to see that you have a lot of different services in terms of compute, storage, database, management tools, developer tools, analytics, messaging. And if you scroll down a little more, you'll be able to see about networking, migrations, security, IoTs, contact center, development of the games, mobile services, and a lot more, right? So eventually you have a lot of services that can be explored across the complete AWS cloud console. You may also want to find a service directly by typing the name here. Maybe if I just say S3, it is going to get a that specific service directly for me. It is in case if you find it is difficult to navigate from here which service which specific part, so I can just go ahead and put in here and I'll be able to find it across. Yeah, and looking out at the right side of this specific AWS account, here is specifically the name with which you have created the account. That will be appearing up here, and then you can just go ahead and click on my account, and it's going to show you details of your specific account. And if you want to see your billing, how much it is billing up to, just click on the my billing dashboard of this money in the INR, or in terms of USD, it is 164.02, and I have used a lot of services in terms of the EC2 section. As a part of other things, I don't have any other billings and other services as well. Here it is zero. Only the tax part is again $25. So it sums up to $164 in my AWS account here. And you can always go ahead and check out which service is costing you how much. So you can just click on the bills. And you will be able to see what is it all about. So you can see your complete payment summary. Right, I can just go down and put across here which service is costing me how much. So if I expand this, it is going to show me in which region, right? So I have almost used these many number of hours, so this much amount of space. So it is going to give you all the statistics here, which service is costing you how much. Specifically, we will be able to check out all these things as part of your billing, and you can also check out your payment methods. So as such, whatever credit card details we have entered at starting, so that payment method will be available here. And you will not be charged until you make a payment, so nothing to worry about. So this is just about a payment method. So in case if you want to make a payment, just click on make payment here, or you can always go down to the payment history to just check out what all payments are being really made. So currently it says I do have one of the unpaid charges, and if I want to click and see my payment history, I can just go ahead and click on it. So it is going to show me all the payments from the month of August until November. So it is basically I don't have any transactions, so that is going to be nil. So you can also have consolidated billing. So if you have more than AWS account and you want to manage the billing only from one of them, so you can also do that. So you can always link all the AWS accounts into one and get your billing done. And in case you have some credits available, you can go ahead and add it. So specifically, if you have some credits, you can go ahead and put it across in this promo code here, and you'll be able to use it. And tax settings, since we have said PAN card as no, and we are using it for personal purpose, so it's not required as such. So that is about a billing dashboard where we go ahead and check out what's happening in my account, whether I'm always inside a part of free tier or not. So I'll just give you one more insight to the dashboard here. So here if you see, it does show you here what is available as part of free tier. So let me tell you about S3 storage here. As I said, we get 5 GB of storage free for a month. If you see, it is still showing me how much I have utilized. So it says 0.03 GB is being utilized by myself from the 5 GB, right? So that is almost like 0.64% is being utilized. And if I'm going to use it the same way, at the end of month, I'll be using only maximum of up to 0.84%, right? So that is a prediction, and this is the current month to date usage as a part of my AWS account. So you can always visit your dashboard to find out how much is being utilized or how much is being not. So that was about billing dashboard. And you can also go down to the support. Let's say you get any further problems in your AWS account. If you have any, like I was wrongly charged for this $164, which has been now removed. So you can always go down to the support center and just raise a ticket on any wrong charges that appeared on your account. So it's very simple. You just need to go ahead and create a case. We call it a support case. Once you create a support case, you will be able to get through. So here it did say I had already raised one incident here for a case here where by mistake something was clicked upon and I was being charged for $164. So I had just raised in, and then they were able to assist me further on the same, right? So this is the feedback, and they helped me to get through from it. And always you can check out your plan here. So if you want to go ahead and change, as I said, there are 4 plans: basic, developer, business, and enterprise. So developer, business, enterprise, all 3 plans are going to cost you a little bit of dollars on your AWS account. So for now, you can straight away go for the basic plan. So in the basic plan, you get limited support from them, but still that's fine for us. So in case if you want to get some developer support and other things, then you can basically go for the developer, business, or enterprise level. So other plans are basically chargeable starting from $29 per month, and the basic one is basically fully free. So in case if you want to find out the documentations, or if you want to go to forums, you can just straight away click on this and you'll be able to navigate towards the documentation of each and every service on the AWS cloud. So as a part of our today's session, I would like you all guys to get started by creating an account in the AWS cloud, which is going to further help each one of us. So whenever we are going to learn and practice out any of the lab, you will be able to do it at your own convenience in your own lab as such. And giving you a very brief part here, let's go down to the home screen. So we are just going to learn a little introduction to Amazon Cloud. So the way this specific platform is actually set up, right? So first thing is we need to understand how global infrastructure of Amazon AWS has been set up. So once we know how the infrastructure is set up, then we are going to learn about the services like networking, compute, storage, databases, and then security and identity. So these are the 5 major services that we are basically going to learn in detail. That is security and identity, compute, storage, databases, and the networking. And apart from that, we are also going to learn about the management tools, some part of application services, and analytics as well, right? So that was a very brief introduction of today's session on AWS Cloud. Before we proceed to further close the session for the day, I just like to give you a small introduction on how the global infrastructure of the cloud has been set up. So basically, this is a world map where Amazon has actually set up its data centers across. So if you see, there are a lot of circles and there are some numbers inside each of this circle of the global infrastructure. Now each circle is basically a region. We call it as a region, and specifically if you see it in the world map towards the India country, we also have one circle over the India, and it has got numeric number 2 displayed in that. So in India, we have one global infrastructure set up by AWS, and the number 2 basically denotes the number of data centers or the availability zones as we call them. So here we do see lot of regions. So each circle is basically called as a region, and inside the region we specifically have a availability zone. So some of them have 3, some of them have 5, some of them have 2. So specifically in India, it is located in Mumbai. So you can check out on the right side of the screen here. It says in the Asia Pacific, it is in Mumbai, where it has got 2 data centers. And 2 data centers are basically called as availability zones. So region is nothing but a geographical location, and each geographical location is going to consist of minimum 2 availability zone, and each availability zone is nothing but a cluster of data centers. So they are isolated from each other in the availability zones. Now why we call it as availability zone? So specifically, if you look a specific region, let's say one of the region has got 3 availability zones, they are all interconnected to each other. Now even if one of them goes down, so let's say there was some problem of power at the data center which is in availability zone B, and this is completely shut down for a little time. And if you have stored something in this region, will you be able to access the data? Yes, you will be able to access, because whenever you're going to store data in this region, automatically it is going to create 3 different copies of your data and store it across all the availability zone. So even if one of them goes down, you will still be able to access the data. That is the region. That is the reason why we call this specific with the term availability zone, which means it is always available. So even if one of them is going down, I still have the access available from the other one. So that is how the Amazon has set up its region and the availability zones, which we together call it as a infrastructure setup for the Amazon.